हेलो गाइस, वेलकम टू माय चैनल। तो आज हम करेंगे क्लास 9th इंग्लिश मूवमेंट बुक का थर्ड चैप्टर, ईश्वरन द स्टोरी टेलर। इससे पहले आप चैनल पर नए हो तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए एंड प्रेस द बेल आइकन। चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं। The story was narrated to Ganesh by a young man, Mahendra by name. He was a junior supervisor in a firm which offered on hire supervisors at a various type of construction sites, factories, bridges, dams, and so on. Mahendra's job was to keep an eye on the activities at the work site. He had to keep moving from place to place every now and then, as ordered by his head office, from a coal mining area to railway bridge construction seat, from there after a few months to a chemical plant which was a coming up somewhere. आगे चलते हैं। He was a bachelor. His needs were simple and he was able to adjust himself to all kinds of odd conditions, whether it was an illy equipped corporate house or a makeshift concave tent in the middle of a stone quarry. But one assessed he had his cook, Ishwaran. The cook was quite attached to Mahendra and followed him uncomplainingly wherever he was posted. He cooked for Mahendra, washed his clothes, and chatted away with his master at night. He could wave out endless stories and advices on various subjects. Ishwan also had an amazing capacity to produce vegetables and cooking ingredients seemingly out of nowhere in the middle of a desolate landscape with no shops visible for miles around. He would meticulously conjure up the most delicious dishes made with fresh vegetables within an hour of arriving at the zinc sheet shelter at the new workplace. Mahindra would be up early in the morning and leave for work after breakfast, carrying some prepared food with him. Meanwhile, Ishwan would tidy up the shed, wash the clothes, and have a leisurely bath, pouring several buckets of water over his head, muttering a prayer all the while. It would be lunchtime by then. After eating, he would read for a while before dozing off. The book was usually some popular Tamil thriller running to hundreds of pages. Imaginative description and narrative flourish would hold each one in thrall. His own descriptions were greatly influenced by the Tamil authors that he read when he was narrating even the smallest of incidents. He would try to work in suspension and the surprise editing into the account. For example, instead of saying that he had come across an uprooted tree on the highway, he would say with eyebrows table raised and heads held out in a dramatic gesture. The road was destroyed and I was all alone. Suddenly I spotted something that looked like an amaryllis bushy best lying sprawls across the road. I was half inclined to turn and go back, but as I come closer I saw that it was a fallen tree with its dry branches spread out. Mahendra would stretch himself back in his concave chair and listen to Ishwaran. His talls unconsciously. The place I come from is famous for timber. Ishwaran wood being there is a richly wooded forest all around. The logs are hollowed on the lorries by elephant. They are hogs, well-felled beasts when they turn wild. Even the most expensive mahout is not able to control them. After this prognosis, Ishwaran would launch into an elaborate equation involving an elephant. One day, a Troscock escaped from the timber yard and began to roam about, stepping on bushes, tearing up wild creepers, and breaking branches at will. You know, sir, how an elephant behaves when it goes mad. Eastman would get so caught up in the extremities of his own story that he would get up from the floor and jump up about, stamping his feet in emulation of the mad elephant. The elephant reached the outskirts of our own town, breaking the fences down like a matchsticks. He would continue. It came into the main road and smashed all the stalls selling fruits, mugs, pots, and clothes. People ran helter skelter in the panic. The elephant now entered in a school ground where children were playing, breaking through the brick wall. All the boys ran into the classroom and shut the doors tight. The best grunted and wondered about pulling out the football goals post, tearing down the volleyball net, kicking and flattening the terms, kept for water and uprooting the shrubs. Meanwhile, all the teachers had climbed up to the tra- uh, terrace of the school building. From there, they helplessly watched the depression of the elephant. There was not a soul below on the ground. The streets were empty as if the inhabitant of the entire town had suddenly disappeared. I was studying in the junior class at the time, and I was watching the whole drama from the rooftop. I don't know what came over me. Suddenly, I grabbed a cane from the hand of one of the teachers and ran down the stairs and into the open. The elephant grunted and magically swings a branch of a tree which it held in its trunk. It stamped its feet, kicking up a lot of mud and dust. It looked frightening, but I moved slowly towards it, stuck in hand. People were watching the scenes, hypnotized from nearby housetops. The elephant looked at me, red eyes ready to rush towards me. It lifted its trunk and trampled loudly at the at moment. I moved forward and, mustering all my force, walked. His third to nail on the quick, the best looked steadily from the moment. Then it is received from head to port and closed. At the point, Ishwan would leave the story unfinished and get up, mumbling, "I will be back," after lighting the gas and warming up the dinner. Mahendra, who had been listening with rapt attention, would be left hanging when he returned. Ishwan would not pick up the thread of the story right away. Mahendra would have to remind him that the consolation was a pending. Well, a veterinary doctor was assumed to receive the animals. Eastman would shock casually. 2 days later, it was led away by its mouthouts to judge to the jungle. Will, how did you manage to do it, Eastman? Did you bring down the best? It has something to do with Japanese art. I think Sir karate or zujitsu is called. I had read about it somewhere. It's apparently preludes the nerve system. You seem not a day passed without Eastman recording some story packed with the advanced horror and suspense. Whether the story was a criminalist or not, Mahinda enjoyed listening to it because of the inimitable way in which it was told. Eastman seemed to more than make up for the absence of a TV in Mahendra is a living quarters. One morning when Mahendra was having a breakfast, Yeshwan asked, "Can I make something special for dinner tonight, sir?" After all, today is an auspicious day. According to tradition, we prepare various dishes to feed the spirits of our ancestors. Today, sir, that night Mahendra enjoyed the most delicious dinner and complimented Ishwant on his culinary skill. He seemed very pleased, but unexpectedly launched into a most graceful account involving the spectacle naturally. You know, sir, that interest factors are a area we are occupying was once a burial ground. He started. Mahindra was yanked out of the placement reserves he had drifted into after the stage swing meal. I knew on the first day itself when I saw a human skull lying on the path. Even now, I come across a number of skulls and bones. Each one continued. He went to narrate how is something so ghost at night. I am not easily frightening by these things, sir. I am a brave fellow, but one horrible ghost of a woman which appears of an on at midnight during the full moon. It is an ugly creature with a matted hair and a similar face like a skeleton holding a fruits in the arms. Mahindra shifted at the description and informed rather sharply, "You are crazy, Ishwan. There are no such things as a ghost or a spirits. It is all a figments of your imagination. Get your digestive system expanded and maybe your head as well. You are talking nonsense." He left the room and reared for the night, expecting Eastman to school for a couple of a day. But the next morning he was surprised to find the cook as cheerful and talkative as ever. For that day, on Mahendra, for all his brave talk, went to bed with the curtains uncensored. Every night he peered into the darkness outside through the window next to his bed, trying to make sure that there wasn't no movements of a dark shapes in the vacancy, but he could only see a sea of darkness with the twinkling lights of the factory mills away. He had always liked to admire the milk white landscapes on the full moon nights, but after hearing Ishwar's stories of the female ghost, he avoided looking out of the window altogether when the moon was a full. One night, Mahendra was woken up from his sleep by a low moans close to his window. At first, he put it down to a cat going around for mice, but the sound was too gently for a cat. He raised to the curiosity to look out, lest he should behold a sign which would stop his heart, but the wiggling became louder and less feeling. He could not resist the temptation and more lowering himself to the level of the window sills. He looked out of the white seat of the moonlight. Outside there, not too far away, was a dark cloudy from a clutching a bundle. Mahendra broke into a cold sweat and fell back on the pillow, painting as he gradually recovered from the ghostly ghastly experience. He began to reason with himself and finally consoled that it must have been some sort of a august suggestion, some tricks, and that is the subequation and lured Suffocation had a plate on him. By the time he had got up in the morning and bath and come out to have his breakfast, the horror of the previous night had faded from his memory. Ishwaran greeted him at the door with his lunch packed it and his bag just as Mahendra was stepping out. Ishwaran grunted and said, "Sir, remember that the other day when I was telling you about the female ghost with a fetus in its arms? You were so angry with me for imagining things. Well, you saw her yourself last night. I come running, hearing the sound of a moaning that was coming from your room." A chill went down Mahendra's spine. He did not wait for Ishwan to complete his sentence. He hurried away to his office and had it in this paper resolving to leave the haunted place the very next day. तो गाइज ये रही हमारी क्लास नाइन्थ मोमेंट बुक का थर्ड चैप्टर, ईश्वन द स्टोरी टेलर. आई होप यू लाइक इट. प्लीज सब्सक्राइब माई चैनल एंड प्रेस द बेल आइकन. थैंक यू.